So, being in the Sedona Community House together, we are right next to Cathedral Rock Vortex right here, which is the epicenter of Sedona, and one of the most powerful places in Sedona. And when you're in these sacred places, it gets really intense, and all of your stuff comes up. It's just magnified. And so one of the things that's come up is our minds, our mental minds, because the field is very telepathic. And so even if people aren't talking a lot, you can hear everything that they're feeling and experiencing. And I know that people are empathic to that and can feel that anywhere, though Sedona has intensified that and brought that up for us. And so one of the things that happened a few months ago is it got to a crescendo of intensity where we couldn't be quiet because we could hear each other's minds, and it was chaos. And so finally, Patrick, one of the members in the community, goes, "You guys need to do Vipassana." And I'm going, "What's Vipassana?" And it's a silent meditation retreat. It's 10 days, 111 hours of meditation, just super intense, going straight into the mind and cultivating this harnessed beast in a very silent and beautiful way. It was the technique that Buddha taught in its integrity of how he became enlightened, and it's bringing the consciousness of the mind and the body together to cultivate this inner peace and this inner silence and equanimity. And so after he said that, I went, well, we have no choice, we have to quiet our minds. And so I started meditating a little bit before I went, and I hadn't meditated before that. Let me tell you, I always used an excuse that meditation for me was painting, or it was dancing, or it was walking in nature. And those things are a form of meditation, of course, though sitting in silence in one position, try and hold your mind still for even just 3 minutes. It's extremely challenging. And so I knew that I had to do this and go on to this next stage. And so in the preparation, I was wondering, why the significance? Why quiet the mind? And it became a necessity for us. And that's why we're in these sacred places, is because it brings up what is necessary on the next path of evolution, because there's nothing else left but this next step. It's just one step, and it's going, okay, the next step is quieting the mind. Whereas in other situations, it would be, oh, I want to go to dinner, or I want to go do this thing, or I want to go do that thing, and it gets distracted. But in this setting, it just pushes you to the next thing. And so I said, why is this significant? And it took me back to what my dad had talked about when he met his hybrid kids in Maui, and he shifted to their reality physically and was with them. And he was with a group of 30 to 50 hybrid kids, and he could feel their excitement, but all of them kept their thoughts. All of them held their thoughts, because the whole scenario was completely telepathic. So if all of them were thinking in that field, which is a fifth dimensional, state and a fourth density awareness, it's telepathic. So you're gonna hear and feel everything, and they held their thoughts. That's one of the things that they were taught to do, as to not flood the field of the other person. And so in moving towards contact and communication in this new way of telepathy, we're going to need to be able to hold our thoughts and be aware of our thoughts and be aware of our energy and what we're putting out, because even on a subconscious level, because the other person's going to be feeling so much of it. When we're cultivating this telepathy with each other, what we're doing is coming together on similar wavelengths of frequency. And in telepathy, because you don't even need to use words, it's because you're feeling such oneness of connection that exchange, that communication is instantaneous and communing on a true level. I mean, you're feeling each other, and it's even a deeper way to communicate, though it's something that needs to be cultivated, because within that deep feeling of connection with each other, that empathy, then you're going to feel everything. So it's really important to cultivate this as we start communicating with extraterrestrial beings, and as we start participating with other humans in these very pristine energetic environments that that support this telepathic field frequency. And so I went to Joshua Tree, California, and I was 33 on the wait list, and somehow I got in, and my dad went too. He was 3 on the wait list, so obviously 3. Some other beings had our backs and got us in, and it was incredible, and I couldn't believe my mind. And I've cultivated a lot of awareness and stillness, but to this degree, never before. And it was very challenging. I loved not talking. That was beautiful. And by day 6, 7, very few thoughts. I had very few thoughts. And this cultivation of true presence actually started to come out, where I was present and in the moment, because when you're thinking, you're somewhere else. And so then I was now. And in that now space, as you go through your body and spread your attention as you're doing the meditation, you can start to feel your body as just particles, as just waves. And then because you're in the moment, you can feel yourself dematerializing. And so I could see that then the next step from there was teletransportation, because your mind is quiet, you're fully present, and you're 100% conscious of your mind and body. And so at that point, the dematerialization can happen and teleportation can happen. So it was fascinating, extremely challenging. Coming back in, and the idea of talking to people gave me massive anxiety, and it's been a transition, and ever since then I've been meditating at least an hour a day, because for me nothing is more important than inner silence and presence, and I'm not there yet, though I'm working on it. And that's just one modality, the Vipassana technique, but it's a way to intensively cultivate this practice where it becomes easy to sit and meditate for silence for an hour. In being back, our house became very peaceful, because Patrick had done it, my dad had done it, I had done it, and all of a sudden the field was so fluid and silent, and it became a sanctuary. And that's what these sites are for, is to be sanctuary. This is one other step on the path towards telepathy, and then eventually towards teleportation, and more so about deeper empathic communication with each other, true connection. You know, the unconscious, the subconscious, and the conscious mind coming together and fully merging with the other person you're communicating with, but in a very positive and peaceful way. So I'm very grateful for all of the chaos that was created being together in this field in Sedona, so that we could come together to cultivate this next step of peace and awareness. So let me know if you guys are interested or what comes up, and I would love to hear any of your stories about telepathy and telepathic communication. So enjoy, and yay.